Imagine two rockets, each with one of two twins inside. One rocket is stationary with the engines off, and the other rocket starts the engines and uses a lot of fuel. Can I say that any of them moved absolutely? No, because there is no frame of reference of absolute motion in the universe for me to affirm this, because of the continuity of empty space. When the twins are reunited, the twin who stayed in the rocket with the engine off is old, and the twin whose rocket started the engines is young. The young twin's rocket pushed through space-time, breaking proportionally his own watch in relation to the other twin's watch. Time is just one kind of movement. When a body forces itself to move, it is free to do so without encountering obstacles. The movement that time is cannot pass so quickly if seen from another reference point. The space-time motion matter-energy conglomerate fits perfectly, just like the account 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 = 5. Every time we increase or decrease one of the numbers 1, we have to increase or decrease also some other number 1 or even more than 1, in exactly proportion, so that the total of the account is always equal to 5. This ever-present exact proportionality comes from the fact that everything has the same common origin of everything being motion. When we imagine space, we are already using movements to create the measurements of space. Only with movements are we able to demarcate measurements for space. Empty space has no measurements without the motions. Its nothingness does not exist. That's why space with measurements is never a reference of absolute rest, because it depends on movements to exist. It is always at most a relative rest frame. Physical objects are not within the measured space but beside it. Measured space is always around physical objects. Matter is not situated within measured space but always beside it, either above or below. Matter is a neighbor of measured space. Measuring matter is a way of measuring the space that matter is, but measuring matter is always measuring matter, not measuring space. If there is an empty space inside an empty box, and we put a snooker ball inside, the empty space where the snooker ball is now does not exist. Considering that the space in which exactly one snooker ball fits plus the snooker ball that is now occupying this place exist mutually, simultaneously, is not an idea totally correct because it leads to think that the ball and space have completely different natures, which is not true. When the ball enters the box, there is no longer the ball place made of empty space, or it exists but in the form of a snooker ball. Because the ball and the measured space have the same nature of motion, empty space is always located around the ball. The measured space does not contain the physical objects, it surrounds everything. Only the comparison between relative movements, oscillations in the average value of the void voltage, is capable of creating reality. Everything indicates that the by-time thickness of the present is always 0 seconds. Every observable movement is a movement that creates the past in our memories. It is registered in the past, not in the present. In spite of that, the movements manage to exist in the present by the continuity of the empty space that perfectly unites any points in it. There is no absolute reference for states of motion within the universe. Every movement is always also a perfect rest. Newton developed from the corpuscular theory of matter the conception of real and absolute space, independent of bodies, which he determined as being infinite and eternal. Thanks for watching, subscribe to my channel and give your like if you enjoy it.